Here we are back again in my hobby prison. Now that Whiskey Juliet is all painted and put back together, we're going to install a Zone Offroad 4-inch lift kit. I picked this up new in the box on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't get a real good deal on it, but I didn't have to pay for shipping. And it comes with really good instructions. The first thing it says to do is to take measurements from the center of the wheel to the bottom edge of the wheel opening. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to measure from the ground to the bottom edge of the wheel opening. Because I'm going to put new bigger tires on it, I want to see what the total lift is going to be. So let's do the left front, left rear, right front, right rear, get those measured and get them written down. Okay, left front, call that 18 inches. And we'll ride over here from the ground. So left front, see that, left front, 31.5. Left rear is, we're gonna call that 19 inches. Stupid. All right, and this one we're gonna call 33.25. Okay, and it looks like it's also 18. We'll say 31.5. 31.5 on this one. And then the right rear, well, 19. And then let's from the ground down there, 33 inches. This is 33. Since I don't have a hoist, the book recommends to do the rear suspension first. So they have it broken up into sections. So the next step is to jacket the vehicle, put them on blocks, and remove the wheels. The instructions say to put the jack stands just forward of this mount right here. So I guess we'll jack it up from right there, I guess. Next step is taking off the wheels. Lug nuts are 19. So far it's been pretty easy. The hardest part has been jacking the vehicle up. Reading through the instructions, and it says it takes 4 hours. We're going to put that to the test. Next on the agenda is we got to take the brake lines and emergency brake cable off the upper control arm. Under the Jeep, and we're going to start tackling this upper control arm. We're going to take these off. They hold the brake lines on. They're 10 millimeters. This is the upper control arm, by the way. We got to take this off. There's one over here on the other side. We got to take that off. And this is not in the lift, but we're going to replace this upper control arm. And the reason why we're going to do that is because when I drive it, I can hear clunking back here. So since we're this far, maybe it's because there's a ball joint back here, and then there's these bushings. It's got 187,000 miles on it. Maybe they're wore out. 10 millimeters, 15 millimeter, and hopefully we can just pull those in. don't know if I can do this and hold this camera at the same time. But you take your channel locks and you put them around here and you pinch it together, pull it back out. Should be pretty easy. It was kind of a pain, but we got it. It wasn't too bad. Just, you got to make sure that you get around that clip so you can pinch it and then pull it at the same time. Now we have to take this off. So there's three number 21 millimeters bolts that hold the upper A-arm to the top of the axle. We got to get those off. I guess those are kind of tricky, but we got to put a spacer in here for the lift kit anyway. So whether you're going to change this out or not, you still have to get these bolts out. I'm sorry, I can't really show this to you. These are on here like this. Ouch, that just hurt my elbow. I mean, these are broken free, and I'm still struggling. I had to use an extra wrench on the end of this to get them to break free because they were torqued on there so hard. I think it's 100 pounds, and this is an awkward position, but anyway, getting these off are tricky. You only got so much room to use your gear wrench. Once it gets up so high, you won't be able to get that off, and those are long bolts. This front one came off fine. I mean, it was hard, but I was able to use my wrench in there. This one, eventually, I'm going to have to switch to this end. All right, that's about as loose as I want to get them, because what's going to happen, if you get your gear wrench on there and you get it up too high, you're not going to be able to get it out. And you're also not going to be able to turn it backwards to get it out. If you've got one of those wrenches you have to turn over to go the other direction. So be on the safe side, just get it up there. I wouldn't push it too far, especially me, because I'm stupid, but just get it loose. And right now I'm going to jack up that back end, take some of the tension off of this. I'm going to jack up this axle. Well, that was kind of a nightmare. The front bolt was easy. This one and this one wasn't too bad, but this one over there took forever. I probably spent a half an hour trying to get that bolt out. It was just tiny, tiny, tiny turns. Anyway, that's loose. It looks like we just have to take these 15 millimeter bolts out, and this thing will drop out. 15 millimeter. There we go. One more. Well, I'm not going to show you. There it is. I'm just going to zip it out. I don't know how good you can see this, but this should be ready to come out. And it wasn't that hard to do, all except for that one stupid bolt. Brake lines and stuff. This might be the hardest thing to do. Okay. Didn't really take long for the first stupid problem to appear. This is the upper control arm. That's the ball joint. But I got the new upper control arm from Amazon, and it was okay. But these brake line bracket mounts really didn't fit, and they needed to be modified. The bolt holes didn't fit, and it just wasn't a really good fit. I mean, it was easy to fix, but you know, it was kind of an indicator of what was yet to come. I don't know if I recorded that other side, but we got to take this top sway bar link off, and it's a number 15. But this piece we don't save, and we don't save this lower hardware. And I'm going to take this off. This is a 15, this is an 18. And this stuff we get rid of. All right, next is we got to take out the coils. So it said lower the axle. Man, I guess they just come out. It said to leave the bump stops in. And leave the isolators in. I think we take the bump stops out though. I think. Or something. I'm not sure how they come out. It doesn't say, it just says remove them. Let me experiment with this one. I'll show you how to do the next one. Okay, well, I guess they just come out. You just wiggle them out. Watch me hurt myself doing it. Yep, okay. That's it. Now, we gotta do something with these. That's next. Spent a few hours trying to put the upper bump stops in. This right here, I was undoing that bolt and it just broke right out. You can see it's just completely rusted out. I took it and put it on my bench vise, tried to get this bolt out. It wouldn't come out, completely rusted in there, and the head broke off. So I tried to drill it out and I got it crooked. And then while I was tapping it for the new threads, this piece broke off. Well, this piece doesn't weld to this piece, doesn't weld to this piece. So I had to go get a bolt, 3/8" bolt, and screw it down onto this. Thank God this doesn't have to hold much weight. Screwed this to this. Now I have to weld this back onto the Jeep, hopefully, and then I should be able to put this on. But it's been a couple hours. So I'll bring you back if I get that welded on. No, it's not very good weld at all, and I wasn't expecting much. I'm just hoping it'll hold so I can put this bump stop extension on there for 20 foot-pounds. I doubt it will hold. It looked better when I didn't put the camera up next to it. Wow. Well, we're gonna find out. This thing's not welded on. This thing's not welded on. It's just screwed on. This part's the one that's welded on. So far, it's holding. It's probably 20 pounds right there. Okay, on to the next side. See this? Did the same thing. Just tore right off. So that took about 2 hours. Hopefully this one won't take as long. We finally got this done. It's on, it's screwed on. We had to tap instead of put it into a nut, which I don't prefer, but if I could learn to weld, maybe we can do that next time. Anyway, we can continue with the install now. We're on step 11, but we've already done this because don't pay attention to this picture. This is for something else. I've already done step 11 because it has to do with the upper control arm. But what we're going to do is we're going to install the spacer. So this goes on top of the differential, and then the ball joint goes on top of that, and then we'll mount the upper control arm. It should go in about 10,000 million times better than it did taking it out. These bolt heads are 7/8, and I didn't have one. I had a deep socket, but not a shallow socket 7/8, so I had to go buy one. I found it at Ace, but that took a while. So let's crawl under the Jeep. All right, here we are under the Jeep. Uncomfortable as it is. This is the spacer. And we put that in with the ball joint. Nice. Goes in like that, but I'm gonna need the screws in 2 hands, and I'm gonna put some blue Loctite on, and I'll get it started, and maybe we'll come back. I'll try to get one in. I got my little impact driver right here. We need to torque these to 100 foot-pounds once I get them all in. I got them all threaded with the blue Loctite, and I've also got a better angle for video. That 100 pounds, hard to get when you're in a off-camber situation. Now let's try it from another angle. Big old pry bar or something. You got it. Yep. Okay, now we can put the upper control arm on. Okay. Let's try not to pinch my fingers. I don't think that'll feel very good. See, can you see what we're doing? Fitting that one in here. That one's in. You gotta try to get that one in. Take our bolt. This thing. Put some anti-seize on it and feed it up into here. All right, that was a lot harder than I thought. This side. Show you, where am I at? Right there. Yeah, this side went in pretty easy, but this right here, where it would not line up with this hole for that nut. It would not. It took forever to work that through, but anyway, we got it on, and we torqued it to 74 foot-pounds. That's what we're gonna do with this one. I forgot to record this part, but I had my wife jack the axle up while I put the ball joint in the upper control arm. I guided it by moving the axle, and she jacked the axle up, and we got it right. It was easy to do. This did not come with a washer, but I put one on because I don't know why it wouldn't come with the washer, but now all we got to do is tighten that up to 100 foot-pounds. Well, I've got to call it for today before I just start destroying anything. I don't know if I pushed the record button, but I was tightening up that ball joint, 105 pounds, and I'm tightening it, and it breaks free. So I'm thinking it's got a press fit. Once it gets down there, the bolt turns easier. So I'm turning, it's turning, it's threading, but it's just taking forever. So I put the impact back on it, tighten it down, try it. It's not 105 pounds. Keep twisting it, and then pretty soon it just doesn't tighten anymore. Now I got to take the whole damn thing off and get a new ball joint. So I'm calling it a day before I break something for real. I picked up a new ball joint today for up here. Then we got to try to unscrew these again. It's gonna take a while. It just is. So I'll be back when those are over. These are a different size than the ones that came out of it. Those are 7/8. So I had to buy me another tool. Anyway, gear wrench. That should help speed things up a little bit, but I'll be back with you after a while. Yesterday I wasted about an hour on these. This went inside the, so you've got your bump stop from the Jeep bump stop. I don't know what they call it, post or something coming like this. There's a bucket right there. This thing slips up on there. And then your rubber isolator went right there. So I spent, I don't know, an hour or better tracking this down. This isn't a Jeep part. This is a rubber budget lift, about 2-inch. So that's gonna mess up our measurements a little bit. Hopefully the front didn't have one on there, but this and the other one are going in the garbage. I'm gonna pick me up this Nikon torque wrench today. It was 35% off. It's the 24-inch one. I got it because I don't know if my Pittsburgh, I'm sure my Pittsburgh one was over torquing that. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully this one's a lot better. Comes in a pretty nice box. It's got a lifetime warranty on it, and it's supposed to be plus or minus 4 clockwise. That means plus or minus 4 pounds clockwise and plus or minus 6 pounds counterclockwise. Nice box. Instructions. And the wrench feels pretty hefty. It's longer than my Pittsburgh one, so should give me more leverage. We're gonna go try it out on the bolts that attach the upper control arm ball joint to the differential. They're supposed to go on at 100. That's kind of cool. Maybe annoying, I don't know. Get this up to 100 foot-pounds on the 0. Sure works a lot smoother than my and we got a long way to go. I wonder if it's got a lock. That's kind of annoying. I don't like that. There's our 100 mark right here. That up to 0. Yep, it's right there. Well, it's handy. You don't have to tighten it down. All right, let's go see how well it works. On and off. Oh, and it's a 90 tooth too, so it should work out a lot better. All right, here we go. The test. Well, there we go. Awesome. That's awesome. We're going to torque this one. I'm not going to show it. Then we're going to put the upper A arm on again. And try it again. Reach in there, and I know it won't over torque it. That was extremely difficult, and I'll tell you what, that torque wrench, even though it was really too long for this deal, that extra leverage really helped out. So two good things. The torque wrench worked out awesome, even though it was too long. And we got that nut on and at 105 foot-pounds, and we didn't strip it. Next, we got to put the bump stops back in, and then the coils. But we've got to put these on. They go on the bump stop. I'll call it a bump stop tower, but they're new coil spring isolators. The old ones are garbage. So we'll do that first, and then we're gonna install the lower bump stops back into the axle. This is that other side of that budget lift. And I could not figure out what that was. This one's not as bad as the other one, but we're not gonna keep it. And this one should just slide right back on. Yep. And put our repaired bump stop back on. Tap a little blue thread lock on there and put it back in. We'll do the same for the other side. Bump stops, bump stops. Grease this up for the lower bump stops. So to grease it up really good and install those. It's time to put the new springs in. So we made forward progress today. That's great. Oh, that was easy. Okay, repeat for the other side. The axle is just hanging there. And it doesn't say, the instructions don't say do left side first or right side first. They also don't say if there's a right spring or a left spring, and they also don't say if there's a spring goes up or down. You know, if there's a top side or a bottom side of the spring. So what I'm gonna do is we're at the passenger side of the Jeep. I'm gonna jack up the driver's side of the Jeep, push this side of the axle down to help us get that coil in. So there's not an opening that's bigger on either side. And these have a spot that locks that lower coil in. So it looks like it's right here on this one. So we need to make sure this piece is locked into that over there. And they said to put the top part in first. Of course, it's not going in because of the bump stop. It's always something. I mean, they made this, right? Yep, it's gonna bust right off. Might have to get coil spring compressors to get this, because this is not gonna go on. There it goes. That part's going on. There we go. Oh, well, it wasn't too bad. That looks like it goes just like that, huh? Okay. All right, that spring's on, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the other side, but I did this wrong. This you're just supposed to put inside the coil. Then once the coil's installed, then you press this into place, but it worked out anyway, okay, the way we did it. Maybe you can see it. Right here, that's where the end of the coil spring goes. And then it loops around the other way. Okay, that's not bad. There's our end of our coil spring. Doesn't say anything else. Now it talks about mounting the shocks. Assembling the shocks. Now these are the rear shocks that you can, they're not even close to the same, so you shouldn't have any problem identifying it. But we gotta assemble them. So we gotta put the bushings in. I wonder if we should put the sleeves in first. Probably put a little grease around that, huh? not going into that side. Let's try this side. I could probably press it in with my vise. A little tricky, but we can do it. Well, that seems to do the trick. We need to put bushings in, so we're going to do them, basically going to do them the same way. Put a lot of grease inside there and press the bushings in. Way easier than the other. 3 more to go, we'll bring you back. We should be able to install them after this. By the way, if you use enough grease, you just push these in. Easy. Instructions say to attach the lower one first, and it's the one with the shock body, using the existing hardware. Of course, I'm not going to tighten it all the way down, but okay. And then we put the top mount on, but we use 2 of those washers on each side. So I'm going to put 2 washers on there, because once we cut this is going to go up, and it's going to be kind of like a race. See what I mean? It's a race. Now we got it through there, so now we can maybe get these other washers on there. You know what? I put that on wrong. These have got to go in there. Son of a... Well, here comes the fight. All right, the book says 75 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, do the other side. Onto the sway bar. You have 2 of these and 4 bushings, 1 for each end, a small bushing and a large bushing for each one. And anyway, we got to insert them, so we'll do that. The instructions are a little bit unclear. So the kit comes with these sleeves, it comes with these sleeves, and it comes with these sleeves. And all it says in the instructions, you take the one of the small inside sleeves and one with the large inside sleeves and put it in the bushing. I'm not going to explain the whole detail. These 2 bigger ones are not the ones for this part. Just use these smaller ones. This is the larger inside diameter and this is the smaller. So one goes on one link and one goes on the other link. What we'll do right here, we'll just put one of these sway bar links together. I'm sure you'll have to press it in just like we did the shocks. Washer, I don't think it takes that much. Yeah, just press right in. Go on the other end. Now, both these ends, and near as I can tell, are the same size. Put a little more grease on the inside of those. Small sleeve. Yep. And a big one. I'll put this other one together real quick. Go back out to the Jeep. The instructions say take the wide, the big inside diameter, and put it in. Okay, hand me that bolt, please.
All right. Yeah.
This is the factory bolt, and I just put some anti-seize on it. Torque that to 55 pounds. The bottom one, this down here, this Zone Offroad stuff is 17 millimeters. The bolt for up top on the frame was 15. Like that. or my new torque wrench won't go to 55. It won't go that low, so I've got to get my old one. Well, I didn't record it, but got that one to 35. I used my old torque wrench because my new one's lowest setting is 50. I'll do the other side and then we'll be ready. I think we're ready to start buttoning this back end up. Well, we're getting down to the wire. According to the instructions, I just have to put these back on right here. Hook up this C-clamp. Well, I'm gonna need two hands, and one on the other side. And these are just number 10 bolts I cleaned up with a wire wheel. I'm just gonna put a little blue thread lock on it and tighten it down. I'll bring you back when I'm done. All right, you guys need to know, if you buy this garbage, this upper control arm off of Amazon, you're gonna run into this problem. These holes are where the brake line goes, okay? This is the hardware that came with it. Too small. This is an M6. This is an M7. They do not have like a pitch, and it's too big. And the standard, like a 7/16, it wasn't that big, but they weren't even close. This M7, we're gonna force it in here. Just be aware that your hardware that off your old upper control arm isn't gonna work. I basically had to drive that M7. It wouldn't go through this. This was too small also, but I pushed it with my ratchet, my power ratchet, and I was able to get it to go in. So we got this one to do, and then according to the instructions, our rear end is done. Hopefully I'll get better at this one day. Miss me lowering that back end and putting that, it doesn't matter. It's been a long time. So I spent 4 or 5 days doing this. I can't even count how many total hours. Said the instructions say it's a 4-hour job. If I took out all the errands, all the missing tools, all the confusion, everything, if I just had everything and I could just do it straight, the back end A to Z, I think it took me about 6 hours. It wasn't that hard, really, just a lot of tricky stuff. But if I was a pro, it'd be no problem. I bet this is a 4-hour job for a pro. Anyway, the back end's completed. I think it looks higher. We'll have to do our calculations. Remember, we've got to account for that 2-inch budget lift that was already on there, but even so, I think it's higher. So now we're on to the front. According to the instructions, the first step in removing the front suspension is to locate and remove this bolt. This connects the track bar to the passenger side axle. That's got to come out first, and then we can lift the vehicle. Might have to shut the camera off to do this because this is a tricky situation here, but we'll see. What size this is, I'll tell you if it fits. I think it's too big. Let's try this one. That one's too big too. Oh, finally, I got that out. I tried everything. Breaker bar, had to get a new socket because the other one was kind of stripping it, but we got it out. What I did is I took my little torch here and I went under the Jeep. Right, this is gonna be really hot. That hole right there, the nut comes, or the bolt comes through here, and it goes into a nut that's welded on in there. I don't know if you can see it, but I took that torch and I just hit it on that nut for about 5 minutes, maybe even 10, and just let it sit there. And then I sprayed it with Freol. And then really quickly, I went and got my impact driver and drove it out. But man, so far that's been the hardest part of doing this front end. Oh, also, I violated the instructions. They said to take that bolt out first and then jack the vehicle up. Well, I needed to get the breaker bar on it, so I couldn't do it that way, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll bite me in the ass later, but we'll jack up the other side of the Jeep, get that tire and wheel off, and then move forward. Okay, wheels are off. And the instructions say first disconnect the sway bar links from the axle. Then support the axle with our hydraulic jack, and then remove the shock. So this is a 15 millimeter. The back here is an 18. I don't know if I'll need this or not, but we're gonna find out right now. Not burning my fingers. That's nice. I'll do the other side and then we'll come back. I'm pretty sure you're all not going to be able to see this, but I think this is 13. Yep. Of course, you got to get something with more power. Got it. Come on, stupid. So far, the only thing that's worked right is the jack, which is weird because it has its issues too. All right, those are the bottom ones. We got to do the top. Like everything's been so far. I guess that's it, huh? See the shock body turning? You get a wrench on that. Did you see me take that out? I thought I pushed record, maybe not. Let me do it here real quick. I mean, it was easy. Okay, I just pulled this down. Pulled it out. The shocks are wasted. I'm gonna do the other side and then I'll get back with you. Next up, we gotta take the coils out. Book says just to lower the axle and take them out, so that's what we're gonna do. This one's probably okay. This doesn't look bad at all. There's a guy, and he marked where this is. Maybe we can just do that. Knowing my luck, I'll probably roll it off. Hang on, we're gonna mark it. Let's see. It came out pretty good. There's a tab right here for something. I'm not sure what it is, but it said to leave this in. But I bought new ones, just because of the condition of everything else. We're gonna pop that out and put a new one in, I guess. Now be careful of the brake line, Vic. Okay. Ah, cool. Next job is to take off the body mounts and the body mount bracket. Son of a... For hell's sakes, man. There's two bolts up under here that we got to get out. They're 15s. Next on the instructions is to take that track bar off. Apparently kit comes with another one. Got my breaker bar on this. We're gonna do it first. That was nothing. Come right loose. Good news. My regular old ratchet. Easy peasy. Track bar's out. Yeah, because I'll screw it up. So the bend goes on the driver's side. Your passenger's straight. Your driver's, that's how we'll remember that. All right, next step. We are supposed to loosen but not remove these 4 bolts on the lower control arms. They're number 18s. I can feel the bolt on the other side. Oh, it's moving. Yep, it's a 21. Okay, try it. It said to loosen it and not take it out, so that's loose. Used it backing it off. I'm gonna go do the other side, the passenger side. I'll be back. It's time for the lower control arms, and we're doing one side at a time according to the instructions. We're gonna do the passenger side because, well, it's in the sun. So we're gonna get the hot part out of the way. And these go in a specific direction. The bend in the control arm faces down, and the long part goes to the frame. The short part goes to the axle. It has 2 bushings. This on the axle side are 1/4-inch bushings, and on the frame side they're 1/8-inch bushings, and we're supposed to use the same mounting hardware, so the same bolts. Let's get at it. It's got one of those catches, but it's not catching on anything, near as I can tell. See? It's got a catch on it, but it's not catching on anything. Oh, that's gonna need stitches. That hurt. Don't do that. They'll probably do it on the next one too. Don't you worry a thing about it. Probably do it over on the driver's or passenger side. The long part goes on the frame end with 2 spacers. See if I can drop it on my head again. That'll be cool, huh? I was looking at that going, I bet that's gonna fall on my head. Self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe? I don't know. Alright, there's that. Okay, now let's tighten that down some. Now, the lower one. I've heard this might be a problem. I don't think we're gonna get it because you guys use ratchet straps for this stuff, I guess. Wonder what I can do here. There's gotta be something. Sorry, I had to bail. I kept knocking this phone over and messing up the recordings. I could not get these holes to line up. Yeah, I did this top part first. That was fine. Then I couldn't get this bottom one to line up at all. It was an inch off. So what I did is I took this out, put this in, and then I could get to this a little bit better because I can maneuver better. What I found is if I pushed down on the axle, this would start lining up and I could get this started. Of course, I have the washer in there, the spacer, and the spacer. Oh, I'm out of breath. Anyway, I could get it started. And then I just took my impact driver and drove it through until I could get this spacer on. Once I got that on, then I just started bouncing this axle up and down until that bolt went through. So what a pain in the butt, but it's in. It still wasn't as hard as trying to get that track bar bolt out. This is the driver's side. This was 10 times easier. I had it together in less than 5 minutes, both sides. And now we gotta put the bump stops back in. I'm gonna go do the passenger side first because that's where it's the hottest. This is the extension that goes up first. This attaches to the bottom with the washers. Well, I need 2 hands, but it goes up here like this. They screw into the right here. They screw into that right there. And then we put the rubber bump stop back in. I don't think I'm gonna show it to you, but that's what you do. I lied. That's where you screw it up in, and it comes with an aluminum spacer, but the screws aren't long enough to hold that, so I'm guessing you don't need it. I hope, I don't know. Instructions are pretty vague on it. There it is, and it wasn't so bad. It was It was the same 15 millimeter socket, torqued to 20 foot-pounds. Now, smear grease all over your bump stop and try to push it back in there. The instructions say if you're having trouble, you can jack up this side of the axle and have the axle push it in. So we're just gonna try to push it in ourselves. I'm just using you grease your fittings with. Oh, that was easy. All right, I'll do it on the other side. We're progressing. It's time to mount the coils. We're making good progress today compared to the rear, but this seems to be quite a bit more involved. But since we're getting ready to go, we better get check out the new mounts. Yeah, they look right. They look right. Okay, let's put the new mounts on, the new coil spring isolators on, then the coils. I'm just gonna show you guys one side because I don't want to show both. It'd be redundant anyway. Let's do the top ones first. I'm guessing they go this way to the top. Well, or we'll just put this on. Let's see if we can force it up there with the coil. This has this little stopper in here, and then there's a hole right here in the axle. That's where it goes. I'm also going to jack up the passenger side of the axle too. Give us some extra room down here to mess with. The coils aren't directional. They do say that the coil, there's a stop for it. It's right here, right there. That's the stop. That's the end of the coil goes. Okay, well, that's in. Let's see if we can get it lined up. Lower the axle down on that other side. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna get Ian over here, okay? No, you see this coil spring? Yeah. See how it's mounted in here? Yeah. It needs to get over here, so this side, that side of the axle is up, so this is dropped, so I'm gonna lower that down, and when this one comes up, I need you to start lining it up, okay? Okay. I want you to be careful, and I'm gonna go slow. Make sure it stays lined up in the bottom and in the top. Are you ready?
Wait, so flat?
Huh?
It needs to be flat?
Well, it'll flatten out eventually. I just don't want it coming out. You know, just leave it as best as you can and let that settle in there. And eventually it'll come together the way it's supposed to, okay?
Okay.
How's that?
Down. Go down a little bit so I can center it. It's pretty good, but still okay. That's good.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll be back when it's time to put the shocks on. We're back on the hot side of the vehicle, installing the front shocks. The instructions want me to put this inside first, and I really don't want to do that. I think it'll be better if we mount it here and then guide the shock up through in there, and then do the top part from up top. The kit comes with these bolts. You don't have to worry about that. They're not pressed in like the stock ones were. It says a 3/8 inch. I'm guessing this goes here, then that goes up through there. So I'm gonna try to move quick and cut this and get this on there before it goes up. I doubt I'll do it, but we're gonna try it. Looks like we gotta jack the vehicle up. Or the axle. Okay, that's next. Alright, looks like everything's seated, right? Yeah, you just gotta do this top part. There, that's it, right there. So we gotta get this on it. This, first we got it, and then this silver plate on it, and then 2 screws. They weren't screws, they were nuts. One goes on, tightens it down until you see that rubber compressing, and then the other one's a jam nut, just screws up on top of that one. That passenger side's done. On the driver's side, I'll mount that shock, mounts the same way, and we'll move on. Next is to reattach the sway bar back to the Jeep. Probably can't get it over there because, oh, there we go. And then torque it down to 55 foot-pounds. I think my other torque wrench is too long to get in here. Yeah, that is not. I'm wailing on that thing. I'm gonna get my other one out just to see if maybe I can get a weird grip on it and see. All right, I was wondering if I could get some kind of bite in here, and I did, and I'm holding it short, so I'm not getting all the leverage, but look. It's there, so piece of shit. I'm gonna jack that up just a little bit. Okay. Okay, now it's time to clean up our mess. It's time to put the tires and wheels back on the vehicle and lower it down. We're almost done with the install, and so my phone's almost dead, so I thought I'd just charge it while I put the track bar in something simple, right? Well, it's not. This was a GD nightmare. It was horrible. It's still not in, but at least it's lined up. The track bar was too wide to fit between here, but I finally got it wedged in there, and when I did, I wiggled it a little bit, and it opened that up a little tiny bit. Still, it was a fight getting that in, and it's still not lined up because it's not threading into the bolt, but at least the hole's lined up. Getting this part in was a cakewalk. That was so easy, and it lined up so perfect. No big deal, right? Where is it? Right there. Yeah. Easy to line up, no problem. So I go to put the bolt in. This will crack you up. It's just one of those, it's another one of those. Just watch this. So I'm taking a factory bolt, supposed to line up in there, right? Here it is. Here it is. Try to put it in. It's not going in. You know why? Because the bump stop's right there. I mean, it's not even close. So guess what? Why would they tell me to put this in before this? Why? If you guys watch this video, just remember, don't put the driver's side bump stop in yet until you get the track bar put in. So now we got to take this out, put this in, and then put it back in. So take this out. Maybe I can get it in without having to take the bracket off. I doubt it though, but we'll try. All right. So this wasn't exactly, but I just had to rotate the steering wheel, and then this came in. 80 foot-pounds here, that's an 18. And I reattached this bump stop. Those use 13 millimeters. This down here was a little bit harder, but I got it in. 15 millimeter, it's torqued to 80 foot-pounds. Then all we really need to do is put these upper and lower bolts on the lower control arms, tighten those up to, I'll tell you here in a second, and then we just have the transfer case lowering the transfer case, and then we're done. Okay, well, I forgot. I'm glad I read it. Those lower bolts get torqued to 115 foot-pounds, but I got to lock off that jam nut on the adjustable track bar. I didn't do that, so we'll do that. And when I get ready to lower the transfer case and transmission, I'll bring you back. It's time to lower the transmission. This is what they sent me. Those are the spacers. There's supposed to be 8 of them, but we're gonna do it with 6, and I'm gonna call them and see if I can get 2 more, but it should be okay for a little bit. I have the transfer case supported on the floor jack, and the instructions say just to take these 8 bolts out right here. Well, 4 on this side and 4 on the next. Try to get that other side in. Wish me luck. It's definitely higher than it was. Let's get some measurements. But first, let's get some stickers on it. Probably be ruined this winter anyway. Do the other side. All right, looks pretty good. Let's take some measurements. It's hard to see this in the sun. Okay, this is the left front. Right. 23 inches, actually 22 3/4. It says 22 1/2. We'll go 22 3/4. Here's the breakdown. Now, this is just from the center of the hub to the edge of the fender. We had on the fronts, they were 18 inches, and on the rear, they were 19. And now on the left front, we have 23 inches, or 20, yeah. So that's a 5-inch gain and a 4.5-inch gain on the passenger side. I'm not really sure what the 1/2-inch difference is, but when I sit in my fat butt in the driver's seat, that'll probably even out. On the back, it looks like we didn't get as much lift. However, you need to remember there was a 2-inch coil spacer in there too. So considering that shrunk, that wasn't a full 2-inch, probably, you'd still be, if you just added 1 inch, you're still at over 4 inches of lift on the back. I'm sure when the suspension settles and such, it'll probably be a little bit lower, but says a 4-inch lift. There you go. There's the numbers. They don't lie. And right now I'm going to go get some tires, and then they're going to be a little bit bigger. What's on there now are 245 65 17s. I'm going to go to 265 70 17s, and then we're going to measure from the ground to the edge of the fender like these and see what total lift we got. So when I get that done, I'll be back. Out on the maiden voyage, I think so far I've drove 50 feet, and we're on our way to get tires. Steering wheel's off a little bit. Have to adjust that. You know, I don't really notice much difference in the ride quality because we got new shocks, but the back end's definitely not making that weird noise. Anyway, so far so good. I'm not really traveling, but it doesn't feel like the alignment's off at all. But it probably wouldn't hurt to go have it done. So anyway, the Jeep is 1,000,000 degrees. There's something wrong with the wiring now because the windows won't roll down. So it's 9,000 degrees outside. I'm gonna shut this down. I'll be back. I picked up some, where's the name? They're Nokian. Can you see that? Outpost 265/70 R17s, and I'm getting a little tire rub in the front, but you can fix that with a spacer if I ever get around to it. So now let's see what the overall lift is. 38 inches. 38 inches. 37 3/4. We're gonna call it 38. All right, let's get out of the sun. So overall lift, we went from 31.5 inches to 38 inches. So that is 6.5 inches of lift. Same with this on the front, and then this was less in the back. Of course, then again, we had those 2-inch pucks. So instead of this being 33, that'd be 31, and you're looking at 7 inches and 6 3/4 inches. So no, it's 4.75 this way, 4.75. Is that right? 33 minus 37 is 4, or 37 minus 33 is 4, plus a quarter is 4. So 38, that's 5. That is a 5, sorry. 4.75. And it is. So 4.75 in the back. You see all this. So we got 4.75 in the back, 6.5 in the front. If we change this with the spacers, a 2-inch spacer is going to be 6.75. Even if it's a 1-inch, it's still 5.75. So overall, and we got a 6-inch lift. I'm feeling a little bit of drifting, not much, a little bit. I'm going to take it and get it aligned tomorrow. The instructions have some parameters to put the alignment at. That should help. And then I think I'm going to get a dual steering stabilizer, because if the shocks are wore out on that thing, the steering stabilizer on there is probably wore out too. So that will be it. I need to straighten out that steering wheel. All you do is on the drag link, there's a collar, and you just loosen up the nuts that hold that collar where you want it, and rotate it until the steering wheel is where it needs to be. Tighten those nuts back up. There's lots of videos on that. I think I'll get back with you. We'll take another test drive once I get all that other stuff worked out, and then we'll wrap up the video. Well, I've been driving the Jeep around for a few days with this lift on it, and it wanders a lot. I did get it aligned. Can't adjust the caster because on one lift, the control arm, the front control arms don't have any caster adjustment to them. So I did get it aligned, and it did improve it quite a bit, but not so much. It's not a vehicle that I enjoy driving around, and I wouldn't want to drive it to a trailer or anything. It's just uncomfortable. It's jerky and stuff. So I got some adjustable upper and lower control arms coming, and we're gonna put that on, and we're gonna see. Hopefully that'll improve the way this goes, but that's for another video. So I did some math here. Hopefully you can follow me for the total cost. So I had the kit I got from Facebook Marketplace was $700. I replaced the upper control arm. That was $80 off of Amazon. And then the vehicle had 185,000 miles on it, so things are going to need to be replaced. So the had to do the coil spring spacers and the rear coil spring isolators, upper and lower ball joints, That was a lot. Drag link ends, front axle seals, you may or may not have to do that. My kit, when I bought it, was missing a couple of washers, so I had to pay for that. So you add everything together, is $1,288. Well, that's not true, because this number right here is for the front axle seals, and this is to replace the washers. So far I'm into it, $1,413. But I went and had it aligned because it was wandering all over the road. Well, you guys know that, but it was 120 bucks and it still isn't good. So I need to get adjustable control arms to get my caster back, $323. So I'm in at $1,856 for a budget lift kit, okay? Then after I get this on, these adjustable control arms, I have to go back and get another alignment. So I'm probably going to be in at around $2,000 for a budget lift. If you go to rough country, you can get a long arm 4-inch, around $2,100. There's going to be extra expenses, but that comes with a lot of stuff that you won't have to replace. And then Jacket right now has the same lift kit for $583. So just be aware of what a budget lift kit you buy used is going to cost. That's it for this one. Would I recommend this? Yeah,